Hello and welcome to Around the Clock. I'm your host, Yolanda Greaves. On today's show, we have a couple of recaps for you between town meeting and some select board meetings, as well as a few stops on our Around the Town tour. We're going to get to hear some music from the vocal solo night at the Ashland High School, and we're going to go check out Green Up Ashland that happened on Saturday, May 6th. So stay with us as I bring you Around the Clock. Welcome to Around the Clock. I'm your host, Yolanda Greaves. We're going to first introduce you to and talk a little bit about the candidates debate that happened on Monday, May 1st. Myself and John Featherston had the opportunity to interview and discuss and question the candidates that are running for some of the contested races. Now, before I go into that, I want to do a shout out to Ron Eskovitz from the Board of Health. He is stepping down after multiple terms on the Board of Health, so we want to thank him for his service. It was also great. He spent some time at Green Up Ashland this year, so it was nice to see him. Going into the candidates debate, as I said, there were three separate sections. We split it out so that for you, our viewing audience, when you want to go back and watch them, you can do it separately. We started with the Board of Health candidates. There were three members there. Now, what's interesting for the Board of Health right now is there are two seats that are on the ballot. And then we, as the select board and the town clerk, received someone who was resigning as of Election Day. So the day after Election Day, we'll have two new members, and then whoever is not elected, most likely at a future Board of Health / select board meeting, will get appointed. But still, it's important for you to go and vote and determine which of those three candidates, and that you can vote too, you would like to see on the Board of Health. From Board of Health, we went to School Committee, and there are two people running for that seat. We have Lori Tosti, who is the incumbent. She's finishing up her 4th term or 12th year. And then we have Sean Adamak, who is a new person running for the seat. Again, really great discussion and debate between the two candidates. Make sure you take time to go, and even though you think you may know the candidates, go and listen to their questions, because it's important that you understand a little bit more about each candidate. From the school committee, we finished up the evening with a select board debate. And there we have three candidates. Preston Crow, who was on the planning board for many years. Claudia Bennett, who had been on school committee, but most recently had been the principal at the Mendez School. And Pam Mims, a resident of Ashland for a long time, stepping in to try and get her feet wet in a political career / volunteering for town. So again, three different candidates, three reasons for running, and three people with different backgrounds. So it's important that you check them out and make sure you vote for the person that you think is going to be the right person to lead our town and be part of the select board. And that wrapped up our candidates debate. It was great working with John Featherston. He and I don't get to do it very often, but hopefully you either got to watch it or you're going to watch it and you find it very informative. Our next story here at Around the Clock is a town meeting recap. Town meeting happened on Wednesday, May 3rd. We started promptly at 7 o'clock, thanks to moderator Adam Schuster. We had 15 articles to go through, and almost all of them passed, all but one passed, and most of them passed unanimously. There was a little bit of discussion about the budget. There was a little bit of discussion about CPC funds being used to update and refurbish an old antique fire truck. And then there was a lot of discussion about the two sustainability articles. The first one was to accept the extended stretch code as put out by the state, and that actually did not pass. And then the second one was also an article, Article 15, the one that closed out the night, was to accept net zero. And that had a good amount of discussion. And that one did pass. Another one that brought up some great discussion was extending the time that people can speak at town meeting. Currently, once you stand up at the microphone, you introduce yourself, you have 90 seconds. A citizen's petition was brought forward to extend that time from 90 seconds to 3 minutes, and that did pass. So moving forward at future town meetings, when you stand up to talk and speak either for or against an article, you will be given 3 minutes versus 90 seconds. We wrapped up at about 10 after 9, so not too long of a night compared to some of our other communities around us, but very productive. We had about 125 people attend, which was nice to see after some of our smaller amounts for COVID. And of course, we always want to see more residents out at town meeting. You can see the full town meeting on WACA-TV, and you can watch all the discussion and debate, and maybe it'll spark your interest to attend town meeting. There's always a special one in the fall, so be on the lookout for that one come time, probably October and November timeframe. And that's our wrap up for Ashland's annual town meeting that happened on May 3rd. Time for our Around the Town tour. We're going to head over to the Ashland High School for Vocal Solo Night. Always a great concert to see all the students and the work that they've put into their performances. We had some students who have done many solos and a few who have not done quite as many. Let's go take a look and a listen at some of those singers. Again, always fun to hear the singers and the concerts that come out of our Ashland High School. Congratulations to all the performers for another great night of music. We're now going to head to Green Up Ashland, which there's really not just one spot for Green Up Ashland. It's the whole community. It's the first Saturday in May. This is their actually 23rd or 27th year, which I was surprised to hear. It's been going on for quite a while. It used to happen on Earth Day, and now it always happens on the first Saturday in May. They've done it different times where they've been in different locations, but as of a couple years ago, the only location for pickup for your bags is at Stone Park. So you stop by, you can either sign up beforehand, you can adopt a street. That's another great program that they have, that you can be doing Green Up all year round, and you adopt a street and you tell them, I'm going to be cleaning up this street all year. And we actually had some people this year who were able to work year round because of the lack of snow and the difference in our weather, that they were able to be picking up. And what happens is you get your yellow bag, and you've probably seen them around town the last couple of days, and you just leave them out, and the Public Works Department comes and picks them up, and it helps make Ashland that much more beautiful. As I close out this episode of Around the Clock, I want to take a brief moment and thank Steve Mitchell for myself as well as for the rest of our community. Steve Mitchell is stepping down after 12 years on the Ashland Select Board. He announced back in January that he would not be running again, and even though we had the opportunity to speak with him during the Boston Marathon episode, we had some people come to the Select Board meeting room and give their thoughts on Steve's deciding to no longer be a member of the Select Board. We had 2 poems presented that were a lot of fun, one by Brandy Kinsman, our own Select Board member, who typically writes a poem at the end of the year, and she had a great poem for Steve, as well as another member. And then, of course, some other people who have worked with Steve over the years on so many things that he's done here in town. So I want to extend my thank you to Steve Mitchell for being a part of the Select Board for all these years. But he's not going that far. He was appointed as a member of the Council on Aging, and he's going to be the Council on Aging representative to the Comprehensive Plan Committee. So Steve, here's some more final words and thoughts from some of our viewers and people who attended the Select Board meeting.
Stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is Steve Mitchell's last official select board meeting with us, and I know
Thousands cheered.
last one, best one.
So good luck in the future, and let's hope Bonnie doesn't get too ruckus around you.
For all he's done for the town on the select board and everything else that he does. Wish you luck with everything else you're doing.
So I would like to thank Steve for all his work as part of the select board in the creation and support of the Ashland Farmers Market. Steve was involved in the creation of the market 12 years ago, and through his support and strong connections to the town with the help of many volunteers, the market has grown as a central focal point of our town.
When Steve Mitchell shouted over the fence of the brand new Ashland Community Gardens way back in 2010 or 2011, something, you probably know the exact time. When are you guys going to come and start a farmer's market in Ashland? That was the message that you gave. And he started, several of us started to think about how could we create a farmer's market? And many would say that it was his idea first.
Some of us here were at a breakfast recently for the Metro West by the Marathon breakfast, and one of the speakers said, essentially, he said, nothing we do of any significance is done alone. And all of these activities, everything we've done is because of many people.
Steve, congratulations. I see that you have now free time to make good trouble. I can't wait to see what ideas you have, and you have my support, and a lot of people support you in the town.
Dear Steve, your dedication to Ashland is unrivaled. Your zeal and enthusiasm is unparalleled. You are a one-person cheering squad. For those who you have decided are your friends, and to those who are not your friends, become one of many interesting encounters. They know as much as you do. The book remains open, and they will find themselves in there sooner.
So Roger Street, Brandy, they're good at poems. I'm good at word clouds. So I have a little gift for you tonight. But thanks for everything.
Well,
really,
thank you,
true.
Beth. See this. Thank you.
It's true that it takes many to make things happen, but it takes also a leader. And you've been that leader in so many ways to make this community someplace that I have goosebumps about right now.
And the world needs more Steve Mitchells. I can't let this night go by without letting my boys know that I was coming here tonight to say something about to Mr. Mitchell. And Steve is very special in my kid's heart because Steve was a guiding role model for my son Nicholas, and Steve helped my autistic son get his first job. So I will never forget that, and that means the world to me. And my boys love you and loved working with you at the farmers market, so I wanted to come here and say that.
Whereas Steve Mitchell has been a valued and dedicated resident of the town of Ashland since 1975, and whereas Steve moved to Ashland with his wonderful wife Bonnie and really grew to love this town and realized that it was a great place to call home and raise the family.
So no recognition in Ashland is appropriate without a presentation of some kind of clock. So for you, Steve, it has the plaque on it, so it won't be a separate plaque. For Steve Mitchell, you understand
Very nice.
that.
It's
Thank
super,
you
yeah.
for your service to the community.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thanks. So what Yolanda was referring to in terms of plaques, where in the rear of the select room is a storyboard that describes the first 5 select board members or board of selectmen back in 1846, and we are but a link in the chain that extends back to 1846.
He can always be seen helping out, cooking Lion's breakfast and selling Christmas trees until they are all sold, no doubt. Steve worked on the CR docks for Warren Woods and the Valentine and gave out BAA grants to groups to help them shine. With the doors in place, the public safety building is finally complete. Took years of hard work and a Fafford gift. No easy feat. I'll send you a copy that's
Okay,
not marked
super.
up, but yeah.
So I just need to check this out. Okay. Now I just want to point out what? It's upside down.
Oh, the clock.
I am a firm believer that when you've got a good team in place, the sum is greater, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And whenever you move one of those parts, you have to recalibrate everything. And I think you're an integral part of the team that we've put together and we have together for as part of the town. And you're going to have big shoes to fill. You ask a lot of questions. I really don't know what I'm going to do with all my newfound time. So Steve has gotten it to the point where, so usually our morning conversations would be around 8, and Steve gets up at like 4:30. So I think it's down to like 6:30 now. So
you're an integral part of the team. I get that, but I'm not quite sure it's where you fit relative to Jen in this hierarchy.
The pecking order, right?
Yeah. So
They come from the heart, my friend. And you and I are the longest tenured here. And I just want to say it's been a real blast. Not only just a colleague, but a good friend. And thank you for everything that you do. And Bonnie, thank you for the sacrifice that you've given to this community. Because wives don't, people don't realize that, family commitment, you guys, we all realize what it is. Taking time away from our families. It's just not one day a week.
Yes, you and I have been together the longest as board members, but I need to comment to Sue Roby because she's been with us as long,
that's right.
and longer. So,
That's right.
Susan, I want to thank you for all your support. We take much of our world for granted. It seems that we live in a society that often does not value the efforts and challenges of providing municipal services or understand how a small town operates. From fire and police personnel, DPW crew, Elder and Human Services team, the town hall staff, our community quality of life depends on the women and men who provide these services. It has been an honor to be associated with so many dedicated town employees, and I extend many thanks and best wishes to everybody that's a member of the Ashland teams. And I guess if I had one piece of advice to share is that just to maintain a place in your hearts and your minds for those that are less fortunate, and to always think about that when you're making decisions of that impact our community. So I think that's a wrap from this chair, and think globally and act and shop locally.
If there's nothing else, I'll take a motion.
Excuse me, I have to interrupt. There is something else. There is something else.
Well, how about this?
So we're having cake, but I say motion to adjourn.
Okay. And is there a
We
second?
need a second. Go ahead, Steve, do a second.
Okay. All those in favor?
You know how
Aye.
You know how bad I want to just, but
No, we're not gonna do that. And now that there's cake involved, I think we are all set for tonight, and we are adjourned at 9:15 this evening. So good night, everyone. We'll see you at town meeting next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you. Woo.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Around the Clock. As your host, I'm Yolanda Greaves. I always enjoy bringing these stories and these shows to you. Again, a big thank you and congratulations to Steve Mitchell as he steps down from the Select Board, and also to Ron Eskovitz as he steps down from the Board of Health. Congratulations to those students who had their vocal chorus night. It's always nice to hear our students. And a couple reminders for you, our viewers. It's election season. Early voting has started. There was some on Saturday, May 6th. There's more on Wednesday, May 11th. So make sure you get out and vote. Or, of course, there's actual election day on Tuesday, May 16th. We have 3 contested races. It's important that you get out, figure out who you support, and get out and vote for them. I won't be there to share with you those election results, but make sure you look for our WACA-TV election night coverage with John Featherston. Well, that wraps up this episode of Around the Clock. Thank you so much for watching.